Alright, time for homework 11. Once again, we need to determine whether these top three relations are functions or not. We also have to state their domain and their ranges. On 4 through 6, we need to evaluate the function at the desired input. And we'll move on to that. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. For each of these, the domains are the x values and the ranges are the y values. So get your little curly brackets going. And we'll get domain, range here. Hold on, let me get these written. Okay, now they got those written. We'll move on to number 1. Look at all the x values. You're looking at 2, -1, 0, 3, 5. Typically we go from like least to greatest, so we'd start at like -1, put on 0, 2, 3, and 5. And that'd be the domain, the x values from those points there. Okay. The y values are the range, so you're looking at 3, 5, -1, 5, 0. Once again, you typically do this from least to greatest, so we'll do -1, we'll get 0 in there, we'll get 3 in there, and 5. Notice how 5 got used twice, but we're going to write it once. Okay, first one. Look at your x values. Did they get assigned different values? Well, each of the x values is unique, so we don't have to worry about it not being a function. It is a function because each x value gets assigned only one y value. Second one here. Remember, your x values are your domain, so your x value here, looking at that one, that is -3. Moving right 2 spots, you got -1. Moving right 2 spots again, you're at +1, and then 2, and then that last point on the right is 3. Okay, that last point has an x value of 3. So those are your possible x values, which are your domain. The range is the possible y values. You notice if we work down at the bottom, working down up with our points there, that smallest value there is -3. Moving up, you're looking at -1. Moving up, 0 gets used twice with those 2 points. And then we jump up to 2, and then 3 is the last one. Okay? So here's our domain and the range. We now need to determine whether or not this is a function or not. Well, if you use your vertical line test, notice right here, a vertical line goes through 2 points. Since it does, it is not a function. Okay? And if you look at your x values on those 2 points there, the x value is -1, but it gets assigned 2 different y values, which would be +2 and -1. So that's another reason why it's not a function. Moving on to the last one, domains are typically like the left ones, so we're going to do A, B, C for our domain. The range is X, Y, Z. And whether or not it's a function depends on how these things get assigned. A gets assigned to X, so that's only one thing. B gets assigned 2 different things. It gets assigned X and Y. So since it got assigned two different results, X and Y, 3 would not be a function. So 3 is not a function. We'll move on to the last 3 here. So we have a function name and an assignment, and then we have to evaluate it at 4, 10, and then y plus 1. Okay, you just take what's inside the parentheses, and you input it where x is. So f of 4 would be equal to -4, because x got replaced with 4. Add 2. Well, -4 plus 2 is -2. So there you go. F of 4 is -2. Moving on to 5, you take x and you put it in for all the x's. You take that 10, put it in for the x's. So h of 10 will be 4 times 10 plus 10. Well, 4 times 10 is 40. Add 10. You're looking at 50. So that's going to be h of 10. We're going to move on to the last one. We got y plus 1. Okay, that's going to replace x, like completely. And make sure you put parentheses in there. So g of y plus 1 is going to be equal to 9 minus 2, and then in parentheses put y plus 1. Okay, and we need to now simplify this right side. This negative 2 distributes to both of those items in there, okay? So you have to replace things. 9 minus 2y, because negative 2 times y is negative 2y. You have to do negative 2 times the positive 1, so that's going to give us negative 2. Simplify one more time, because you got now 9 minus 2, which can combine. That's going to give you 7, and we still got the subtract 2y, and that's going to be g of y plus 1. And that one is done.